So the dough got done really early today. So I'm gonna go hat cam on this little pig. I started this, the starter went in at 645. Okay. The dough's been about 72 to 74 degrees. What do I mean? I've got a little chart here. I'll give you a copy of it. 72 to 74 degrees. I want to go about a 60% increase. This started off at 5,600 mils. Add 60%. It's about 9,000. All right. So if you look, this little mark here is about 9,000, and it's got like a bow to it. You know, it's kind of got a belly on top. So we're right there. And then you can't smell, but it's really sweet smelling. And you can see how it's got that wobble on it. You got bubbles everywhere, fermentation. That looks pretty good. So we're gonna dump this guy out and see how it comes out of the bin. Looks like it's pulling fairly clean. You can see it it's kind of pulling away. And we'll get it all dumped out here. Takes a little bit of doing. There it goes. Yeah, pretty clean. A little bit of leftover here. So there is all my fermented dough. All right. So what's the next step? Next step is to chop this all up into loaves. Now I'm going to make this 900 gram loaves. Basically, this is about an 8,000 gram or 8 kilo dough. So if I go like this, and then I want 4 up there, and I'm going to do 5 down here. I'm just doing this to kind of help me like figure it out. I've got my scale here with a piece of glass sitting on top so that I can do this. So I'm going to get this dough off of here, drop it on here. Now I'm looking for 900, that's 890. 90 change, technical term. There we go. Let's make sure that's zeroed. And then I'm just gonna keep doing this. Looking for about 900. Now, I've got one little bowl in here, so I don't mind this 775. I'm gonna make that my little guy. Okay. And then I've got the 2 bigger bowls, so I can try to get those a little bit bigger than 900. So I've got these, I'll do all these 900s. I got that one 775. So let's see how close we get here. 750. $903. Calling it. There we go. And this will kind of sit in chunks here. So I'm going to chop up the rest of these into 9s. And then the last 2 should be bigger because I'm going to take the remainder from that one. Got them all chopped up. Ended up doing, I don't know. These guys are like 925s each, 900 for these. And the 2 in the back, I did 775s for these. For those 2 little pans right there. Not sure how that mathed, but I should probably add a little bit more to my dough. Anyway, I'm just gonna, because these were chopped up into little bits, you wanna flip them over and just lightly take your hand like this. You push your knife up, and then I'm turning it with my hand, right? And that's just giving me this little kind of ball right here. Nothing crazy. So I just do that, flip it over, ball. These are the 2 bigger ones. I see some bits there that I just flipped in, so I just kind of doing this. make it into this little ball. Same thing. Now when you do this, you're gonna say, dude, you made that look a lot easier than it was. Yeah, well, I've done this a few hundred or probably about 1,000 times. So yeah, now I'm gonna finish just pre-shaping these guys. See these little pieces in here? I'm just kind of folding this over, flip it over, and then we'll leave them sit for about 10 minutes. And that just kind of lets the dough grow together and kind of seals up all these little pieces. So it's like one cohesive dough. So bulk ferment is what you do when you're fermenting this dough all together with all these different loaves in one. And then you chop them up into the individual loaves. And then you do a little bit of proofing at the end. See how that guy's a lot smaller. It's my little guy. This one I'll just do right here like this. Same thing. They all get the same treatment. Regular size, couple big boys, 2 little dogs. While I'm letting them sit, I'm also gonna just hit them with a little flour on the top. Here we go. I'm not really gonna flour much after this, so I just kind of shake some out here, smooth it out on the top. If your dough is fermented well and correctly, you don't need too much flour in the process. You'll see people use a ton of it, but it's just really not needed if you nail down the fermentation. All right, I'm gonna let these chill for like 10 minutes. So let's set it 10 minutes. While that's happening, I already washed this. Pro tip, everything that dough touches, wash it right away before it's dry. Also, wipe off any big chunks on paper towels and throw them in the trash. You do not want a bunch of dough, discard. None of that ever goes down the sink. And anytime I even use the sink, it's got this metal strainer in here. You don't want to play with that. So I bought a toy brush specifically for this purpose, to clean out my baskets and get the old flour out of there from when I made my last loaves. This will make your baskets last a massive amount of time compared to if you don't do this. Also, when you finish and you pull a dough out of these baskets, you want to be setting them up on the stove anywhere where it's warm. If you have a double oven like this, I kick open this oven and I just let them sit on the top here and dry. Getting those dry will make them last a very, very long time versus not letting them dry. It's easier for them to get mold and other problems, but I just give them a quick little brush out like this. Here we go. Again, doing all this while these are sitting. We let those sit for like 10 minutes so that they can relax. Every time you handle the dough and you tension it up, the dough's got tension in it. We want them to then chill and lay out a little bit and let the gluten relax a little bit, because then we're gonna flip them over. Flour side is now up. We're gonna flip them over, flour side down, and shape them up into the actual shapes that they go into the basket in.